Here's what nobody tells you about organizing your life. You think structure will trap you, but the truth is chaos is the real prison. And most people are locked inside it without even knowing. Look, we live in a world that glorifies being busy. Everyone's running around like chickens with their heads cut off, convinced that constant motion equals progress. But here's the thing. Motion without direction is just noise, and noise creates nothing but exhaustion. Today, we're going to break down why forcing yourself to organize your life isn't about becoming rigid or mechanical. It's about creating space for what actually matters. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how to do it. Let me ask you something. How many times have you woken up with good intentions, only to get to the end of the day and realize you accomplished nothing that mattered? You answered emails, you scrolled through social media, you put out fires, but the things you actually wanted to do, the things that would move your life forward, they got pushed aside again. This is the trap most people live in. They confuse activity with achievement. They mistake being responsive for being productive. And slowly over time, they lose control of their own lives. Days blur into weeks, weeks blur into months, and suddenly you're looking back wondering where all the time went. The real problem isn't that you're lazy, it's that you're disorganized. And disorganization is sneaky because it disguises itself as flexibility. You tell yourself you're going with the flow, being spontaneous, staying open to opportunities. But really you're just avoiding the uncomfortable truth that without structure, you're drifting. Think about water for a second. Water is powerful, right? It can carve through mountains over time, but water without direction just spreads out and evaporates. It becomes shallow and stagnant. Your energy is the same way. Without proper channels, without organization, it just dissipates into 1,000 little puddles that lead nowhere. And here's what makes it worse. Modern life is designed to keep you disorganized. Your phone buzzes every few minutes. Notifications pull you in 10 different directions. Everyone wants a piece of your attention. The world profits from your distraction. So if you're waiting for things to naturally fall into place, you're going to be waiting forever. The illusion of freedom in chaos. There's this romantic idea floating around that structure kills creativity, that schedules are for boring people, that truly free spirits just do whatever they feel like doing in the moment. And on the surface, that sounds appealing. Who wants to be constrained by lists and calendars? Who wants to live by the clock? It feels limiting, like you're putting yourself in a cage. But here's what that philosophy misses. True freedom doesn't come from having no structure, it comes from having the right structure. Think about a river. A river is powerful because it has banks. Those banks don't restrict the water, they direct it, they give it force. Without banks, you don't have a river, you just have a swamp. The water spreads out thin, stagnant, going nowhere. It loses all its power. That's what happens to your life without structure. Your energy just spreads out in every direction until it becomes worthless. When you organize your life, you're not building walls around yourself. You're creating channels for your energy to flow through. You're making decisions in advance so that in the moment, you don't have to waste mental energy figuring out what to do next. You already know, and that knowledge is liberating. It frees you from the constant anxiety of wondering if you're doing the right thing. You decided that already, now you just execute. Consider this, every decision you make takes energy. Should I work out now or later? Should I start that project today or tomorrow? Should I eat this or that? When you're disorganized, you're making these micro decisions all day long, and each one drains you a little bit. It's called decision fatigue, and it's real. By the end of the day, you're mentally exhausted, not from doing hard work, but from constantly deciding what to do. That's why people who have chaotic lives often feel tired even when they haven't actually accomplished much. But when you organize your life, you eliminate most of these decisions. You decide once, and then you execute. Your workout happens at the same time every day, so there's no debate. Your important work gets done in the morning when your mind is fresh, because you planned it that way. You're not reinventing your day every single morning. You're not standing in front of your closet for 10 minutes trying to figure out what to wear. You're not staring at your to-do list feeling overwhelmed. You have a plan, and you follow it. Simple as that. And here's the beautiful part. When you remove all those small decisions, you free up mental space for the decisions that actually matter. Creative choices, the strategic thinking, the deep work that moves your life forward. Organization doesn't kill creativity, it protects it. It gives creativity room to breathe by handling all the mundane stuff automatically. People who resist organization are usually running from something. They're afraid that if they look closely at how they spend their time, they'll have to face some uncomfortable truths. They'll see how much time they waste. They'll see how their actions don't match their stated priorities. They'll see the gap between who they want to be and who they actually are. And that's scary. It's easier to stay in motion, to stay busy, to tell yourself you're doing your best. But when you actually track your time, when you actually look at what you do all day, the truth becomes unavoidable. And most people would rather avoid that truth than face it and change. But avoiding that confrontation doesn't make it go away. It just keeps you stuck. The discomfort of getting organized is temporary. The discomfort of living in chaos is permanent. One is a short-term investment with long-term payoff. The other is a slow leak that drains your life force year after year. And let's talk about spontaneity for a second, because people think organization kills it. But that's not true at all. When you're organized, you actually have more room for spontaneity because you're not constantly putting out fires. You're not scrambling to meet deadlines you forgot about. You're not stressed about the 100 things you need to do but haven't done. When your responsibilities are handled, when your systems are running, you can actually relax and be spontaneous. You can say yes to unexpected opportunities because you know your important stuff is already taken care of. But when you're disorganized, you can't be spontaneous. You're always behind. You're always stressed. You're always feeling guilty about the things you should be doing. That's not freedom, that's prison. Organization sets you free by giving you control over your life instead of your life controlling you. It's the difference between driving a car and being dragged behind one. Both involve movement, but only one gives you power over where you're going. The paradox of effort and ease. Here's something that seems backwards at first. The more effort you put into organizing your life, the easier your life becomes. It's like a seesaw. High effort in planning and structure creates low effort in execution and daily living. But most people try to do it the opposite way. They want ease without effort, flow without preparation. They want results without doing the work up front. And what happens? They end up working twice as hard for half the results. Because when you're disorganized, everything takes longer. You can't find what you need. You forget important details. You have to backtrack and redo things. You're constantly in reactive mode, dealing with whatever crisis pops up next. You're always fighting fires instead of building something. Every day feels like a struggle because you're making it harder than it needs to be. But when you're organized, there's a smoothness to life. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. You're prepared. You have systems in place. And those systems run on autopilot once you set them up. The effort you put in up front gets multiplied across every day that follows. Think about cooking a meal in a messy kitchen versus a clean, organized one. In the messy kitchen, you're hunting for ingredients, moving things around, cleaning as you go just to make space. A simple meal takes an hour, but in an organized kitchen, everything is where it should be. You move efficiently. The same meal takes 20 minutes. That's the power of organization. Same task, same person, completely different experience. The only difference is the structure around it. Now apply that to your entire life. Your finances organized means you're not scrambling when bills are due. You're not getting hit with late fees. You're not stressed about money because you know exactly where you stand. Your health organized means you're not starting from scratch every Monday. You're not doing the cycle of motivation and burnout. You have a routine that works and you stick to it. Your work organized means you're making steady progress instead of spinning your wheels. You know what needs to get done, you know when you're doing it, and you do it. No drama, no stress, just consistent progress. The effort of setting up systems is nothing compared to the effort of living without them. But here's the tricky part. Getting organized requires you to slow down first. And slowing down feels wrong when you're already behind. It's like, how can I take time to organize when I have so much to do? But that's exactly backwards. The reason you have so much to do is because you're not organized. You're creating extra work through inefficiency. You're doing things multiple times because you didn't do them right the first time. You're wasting hours on tasks that should take minutes. The lack of organization is why you're drowning, not the amount of work. It's like sharpening an axe. If you're trying to cut down a tree with a dull axe, stopping to sharpen it seems like a waste of time. You're already behind on cutting. But if you just keep hacking away with that dull blade, you'll work 10 times harder and get nowhere. 5 minutes of sharpening saves you hours of struggle, but most people are too busy chopping to stop and sharpen. They're too busy being busy to actually be effective. Organizing your life is sharpening your axe. It's the meta work that makes all other work easier. And the beautiful thing is, once you do it, it compounds. An organized person gets more organized over time because their systems build on each other. A disorganized person gets more chaotic over time because problems stack up and multiply. Little issues become big problems because they weren't handled when they were small. Tasks that should have been simple become complicated because they were delayed. The chaos feeds on itself and grows. But organization does the opposite. It creates a positive spiral. Each system you build makes the next one easier. Each habit you establish supports the others. Over time, you reach a point where being organized takes almost no effort because it's just how you operate. It becomes automatic. There's also this deeper truth about effort and ease. Real ease, the kind that lasts, only comes through discipline. Shortcuts and hacks might give you temporary relief, but they create long-term problems. Discipline feels hard at first, but it gets easier. Lack of discipline feels easy at first, but it gets harder. Choose your hard. You're going to experience difficulty either way. The question is whether you want the difficulty of building something or the difficulty of constantly struggling. When you force yourself to organize, you're choosing the hard that leads to ease. You're paying the price up front. And once you've paid it, you get to collect the dividends for as long as you maintain the system. That's a trade anyone with sense should take. Pay once, benefit forever. Versus the alternative, which is paying every single day with stress, wasted time, and mediocre results. Time as your true currency. Let's talk about what you're really organizing when you organize your life. It's not stuff, it's not tasks, it's time. And time is the only resource you can never get back. You can make more money, you can build new relationships, you can recover your health to some degree. But time, once it's gone forever. Every second that passes is a second you'll never see again. Every hour you waste is an hour lost permanently. There's no getting it back, no do-overs, no second chances, and yet most people treat time like it's infinite. They waste it like they'll always have more. But you won't. None of us will. And the scary part is, you don't know how much you have left. Could be 50 years. Could be 50 days. The uncertainty should make every moment precious. But instead, most people sleepwalk through their days. They spend their time on things that don't matter, with people they don't care about, doing work that doesn't fulfill them. And they tell themselves they'll get to the important stuff later, but later never comes. When you're disorganized, you're basically lighting your time on fire. All those minutes spent looking for things you misplaced. All those hours doing work that didn't need to be done because you didn't plan ahead. All those evenings too exhausted to do anything meaningful because you burned your energy on nonsense. That's your life evaporating. Those aren't just wasted minutes. That's your existence being consumed by inefficiency. Every moment spent on something that shouldn't have taken a moment is a moment stolen from something that matters. But here's what happens when you get organized. You start to see time clearly. You see where it's actually going. And once you see it, you can direct it. You can allocate it to what matters. You can protect it from the thieves that try to steal it. Every text message, every notification, every person who doesn't respect your boundaries, they're all trying to take your time. And if you let them, they will. But organization gives you the power to say no. It gives you the clarity to see what deserves your time and what doesn't. Organization is your defense system. It's how you say no to the trivial so you can say yes to the essential. It's how you create blocks of uninterrupted time for deep work, for relationships, for rest, for growth. Without organization, you're just giving your time away to whoever asks loudest. The squeaky wheel gets your attention, not the important wheel. You spend your day responding to other people's priorities instead of advancing your own. And at the end of the day, you've been productive for everyone except yourself. And think about it this way, when you organize your time, you're actually creating more of it. Not literally, obviously, but practically. If you can do in 4 hours what used to take you 8, because you reorganized and focused, you've just created 4 extra hours. Multiply that across a week, a month, a year. That's hundreds of hours you've reclaimed. Hours that used to disappear into inefficiency and distraction are now yours to use however you want. What could you do with an extra 100 hours this year? Learn a new skill. Build a side project. Deepen your relationships. Actually rest instead of just collapsing from exhaustion. The possibilities are endless, but only if you have the time. And you only have the time if you organize it, if you protect it, if you treat it like the precious, limited resource it actually is. Here's the brutal truth. If you don't organize your time, someone else will organize it for you. Your boss will fill it with meetings. Social media companies will fill it with scrolling. Other people's emergencies will fill it with distractions. And at the end of your life, you'll look back and realize you spent your most precious resource on things that didn't matter to you. You gave away your life one distraction at a time. That's the real tragedy. Not that you didn't have enough time, but that you had time and spent it on the wrong things. When you organize your life, you're making a statement about what your time is worth. You're saying it's too valuable to waste, too important to give away freely, too limited to spend on things that don't align with your values. And that awareness changes everything. It makes you intentional. It makes you selective. It makes you ruthless about protecting what matters. Because once you truly understand that time is all you have, you stop treating it carelessly. You start treating every hour like the gift it is. And you organize your life in a way that honors that gift instead of squandering it. The power of small systems. Getting organized doesn't mean overhauling your entire life in one dramatic weekend. That's actually a recipe for failure. Big, sweeping changes are hard to maintain. What works is small systems that stack on top of each other over time. A system is just a repeatable process that gets you a desired result. And the beauty of systems is that they work whether you feel motivated or not. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes. But a system runs on discipline, and discipline is something you can control. Start simple. Pick one area of your life that's causing you stress because it's disorganized. Maybe it's your morning routine. Maybe it's your workspace. Maybe it's your finances. Just one thing, and create a simple system to handle it. For example, if your mornings are chaotic, create a system. Lay out your clothes the night before. Prep your breakfast. Set a consistent wake-up time. Have a sequence you follow every morning without thinking. Coffee, shower, breakfast, review your day. Same order every time. That's a system. Once that system is running smoothly, add another one. Maybe you organize your workspace so everything has a place. Or you create a system for processing emails. Or you set up automatic bill payments so you never miss one. Each system you add makes your life a little smoother, a little more predictable, a little more under your control. And here's what happens over time. These small systems start connecting. Your organized morning flows into your organized workspace. Your financial system reduces stress, which improves your sleep, which makes your morning system even easier. Everything reinforces everything else. The key is consistency over intensity. It's better to have a simple system you actually follow than a complex one you abandon after a week. Don't try to be perfect, just try to be consistent. Show up every day and run your systems. Trust the process. Think of it like compound interest. Each day of following your systems is a small deposit. Individually, it doesn't look like much, but over months and years, it grows into something massive. The person who organizes their life with small, consistent systems will be unrecognizable 5 years from now compared to who they are today. And the beautiful thing about systems is they reduce friction. Once a system is in place, it's actually harder to not do the thing than to do it. Your brain loves patterns. Give it good patterns to follow, and it will follow them automatically. That's when organization stops feeling like work and starts feeling like flow. Organization is self-respect. Here's something people don't talk about enough. How you organize your life is a direct reflection of how much you respect yourself. When you leave your life in chaos, you're telling yourself that you're not worth the effort of creating order. You're saying your time, your energy, your peace of mind don't matter enough to protect. But when you take the time to organize, you're making a statement. You're saying, my life matters, my goals matter, my well-being matters, and I'm willing to put in the work to honor that. It's an act of self-respect, maybe one of the most important ones. Think about how you feel in a cluttered, disorganized space versus a clean, organized one. In the cluttered space, there's a weight on you, a low-level stress that never goes away. Your environment is screaming at you that things are out of control. But in the organized space, there's calm, there's clarity, you can think, you can breathe. Your entire life works the same way. When it's disorganized, you're carrying that weight everywhere. It affects your mood, your confidence, your energy levels. But when you organize it, you create internal space. You give yourself permission to relax because you know things are handled. You've taken care of yourself. And other people notice. When you're organized, you show up differently. You're on time. You remember things. You follow through. You're reliable. And reliability builds trust. People respect you more because you respect yourself enough to get your act together. But more importantly, you respect you more. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from having your life in order, from knowing that you're not just reacting to whatever happens, but actively shaping your days according to your values. That satisfaction builds self-esteem in a way that no amount of positive affirmations ever could, because self-esteem isn't about what you tell yourself. It's about what you prove to yourself through your actions. Every time you follow through on your systems, you prove you're reliable. Every time you organize instead of procrastinating, you prove you're capable. Every time you choose structure over chaos, you prove you're in control. And control is what this all comes down to. We'll always have uncertainty. There will always be things outside your control. But how you structure your days, how you organize your space, how you manage your time, these things are within your control. And exercising that control is how you build the life you actually want to live. So here's the moment of truth. You can finish this video and go right back to the chaos. Tell yourself you'll get organized someday when things calm down. But here's the secret: things never calm down. Life doesn't get less busy. You don't magically get more time. The only thing that changes is whether you decide to take control or not. Or you can make a different choice. Right now, today, you can pick one small area of your life and organize it. Not perfectly, not completely, just better than it is right now. And then tomorrow, you do it again. And the day after that. And slowly, gradually, you build a life that runs smoothly instead of constantly breaking down. The power is in your hands. It always has been. The question is whether you're going to use it. Because every day you wait is a day you lose to disorganization. A day where your potential gets wasted on inefficiency. A day where you could have been building, but instead you were just surviving. Look, organizing your life isn't glamorous. Nobody's going to give you a medal for having a clean desk and a working schedule. But the payoff is real. More time for what matters. Less stress. More progress toward your goals. A sense of control in a world that often feels out of control. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be intentional. Choose what matters and build systems around it. Protect your time like the precious resource it is. Create structure that supports you instead of constrains you, and respect yourself enough to actually do it. The organized life isn't about being rigid or boring. It's about being free. Free from the constant mental clutter of things you need to remember. Free from the stress of always being behind. Free to focus on what actually makes life worth living. This is your life. You only get one. And how you spend your days is how you spend your life. Make them count. Get organized. Take control. And watch what becomes possible when you stop letting chaos run the show. If this helped you, subscribe for more.